This is Calicats the Calicatster. This is a brief update of my video yesterday being all angsty and stuff. Where I was all like, oh yeah, they're not going to give it to the Oscars, any of the good movies. So the Oscar thing, apparently, I didn't see it. I watched the highlights afterward, and Jimmy Kimmel's funny monologue with the thing. A very safe person to get to be the host, and he's quite a bit taller than Chris Rock. So if anybody jumped out of the audience and went after him, you probably could take him. They made a joke about it, and they were like, well, there's different people will back him up. But yeah, I don't think anybody. Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. I don't think so. But nobody messes with him. Apparently, it was fairly straightforward, and even though they had about 5 or 6 movies no one had ever heard of, were flops, they didn't actually get an Oscar. So none of them did. I think one of them did. But yeah, it was like a Netflix movie or something. And yeah. And that Weird All's Quiet on the Western Front thing, which is a remake of a 1930s movie. It's about World War I. It's odd that was in there. But it didn't win for anything too intense. The animated film didn't win. Turning Red didn't win, and Puss in Boots 2 didn't win. They're better movies than the one that won. The one that won was an odd one, but yeah, I don't know if it was better. But the Oscars anyway. But Everything Everywhere All at Once, pretty strange title. Someone else's version of the Multiverse of Madness. Same thing, same idea. But an original concept of the Multiverse of Madness, more like the Lovecraftian version, Mountains of Madness, Multiverse of Madness, crossover thingy. One for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor and Actress, Michelle Yeoh and Jamie Lee Curtis, and yeah, so the whole cast went on, and supporting actor too, the guy who played Short Round on Indiana Jones too. He was in that movie. It is returned to directing. So tonight, the night's story was this year mostly about the Asian community winning lots of movies. This time, they joked that the Irish people were going to win the Irish movie. They joked about that, but they won a couple of things, a song and something else. But yeah, there's a recap. It's interesting that they took the safe road. The Oscars people apparently realized, okay, yeah, we're not really the Top Gun one for music or sound or something, because they're not going to give a sci-fi movie until this year. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a sci-fi picture, but it is also a Twilight Zone type of episode. So it's Outer Limits type of thing. Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, kind of in that same ballpark. So it's a weird, creepy adventure masquerading as a multiverse spanning story about a laundromat lady who gets transferred through time with space glasses on through different parts, different universes where she's a hero or whatever. Now, what they need to do now that they've got all these famous actresses out there, there's been some stink about. There's been some stink about, mainly from Jennifer Lawrence, who this year was all, I'm the first female super. She said something really lame, like she was the first female to ever be a leading superhero, and every other female leading superhero came out and said, "Wait a minute, what about us?" There was Sigourney Weaver, Jamie Lee Curtis. There was Angelina Jolie. A bunch of them. There were female superheroes long before she was even born. So Jennifer Lawrence. So long before she was born. Michelle Yeoh was a kung fu star 80 years ago. Now doing the other thing. So. Cynthia Rothrock from the 80s. I think she's still around. So what they need to do is they need to make, those 3 Expendables movies. They were going to do those 3 Expendables movies. They were going to make a female version called the Expendables. Well, there's your cast. I just named your cast. If they do this movie, they probably won't. But if they do this movie, put those people in it. Cynthia Rothrock, Michelle Yeoh, Jamie Lee Curtis, Sigourney Weaver, Angelina Jolie, but to an extent, see who else? Who I'm missing? I don't think Goldie Hawn is around anymore. It wouldn't be her. But all them, yeah, and Jennifer Lawrence. Include her as the young upstart, like in the original Expendables movie. They threw in Jason Statham, even though he wouldn't have been there either back then. She's just like sort of like the original Kings of Comedy. Didn't include the original Kings of Comedy. It didn't include any of the original Kings of Comedy. It had Denise Hubley, and it had Bernie Mac and all these newer comedians. It didn't have the original Kings of Comedy. Needed to have the original Kings of Comedy. Richard Pryor, Red Fox back in the day. He was still alive then. The Dolomite guy, of course, Rudy Ray Moore, and some of the actual, real, original Kings of Comedy. Yeah, the Spike Lee joint. So, Spike Lee, what would you do? Anyway, so this one was not so much on that. They did address the Wakanda Forever movie. I think it got some costuming or something. But yeah, it was not woke or anything, which is not a bad thing. So yeah, the Oscars this year was yeah, it was apparently fine. Nothing to worry about the Oscars. But yeah, they need to do an Expendables female Expendables movie. Jennifer Lawrence needs to be in it. And this joke, Hollywood, take this joke. Jennifer Lawrence shows up all upstart and stuff. Put that joke in there. And she's all like, the first one to be an adventurer person with arrows and stuff, and have like Sigourney Weaver go, you weren't even an embryo or a zygote when I was a superhero. Alien story. That needs to happen. Maybe she's a face hugger. Yeah, exactly. Because Sigourney Weaver was like, that came out in '78. How old is Jennifer Lawrence? She's got to be like 30 right now, right? Yeah, so maybe less. Something around there. What do you say? And don't include Brie Larson unless she's the villain. No. Nah, just kidding. Lady Gaga should be the villain. Madonna should be in it too. Madonna should be in it. Yeah, somewhere in there. That's something. Although she wasn't an action star, technically. The Desperately Seeking Susan wasn't really an action picture, was it? I'm surprised Gaga hasn't been in more action pictures too. But no, don't think so. But definitely, and I almost forgot, Mila Jovovich from The Fifth Element, who later went on to be in all those Resident Evil movies. She definitely needs to be in there somewhere. Yeah, as dressed like the Lilu character. Yeah, they need to do this. They need to do this. Get on it. Sequel to the universe thing. No,